A quick shout out to our sponsors, King Louie's Meat Apostle Barbecue Rub, Inkbird Thermometers, Rum Runners Barbecue, Butcher Barbecue and all their goodies, Springer Mountain Farms Chicken, the best charcoal out there, the Good Charcoal Company, the only Vortex drum, Hunsaker Drums. Now back to Brian, Brad, and the Bum.
Hello, Addicted to the Q world. We have Greg and Devin from American Fire BBQ and Devin from Fluffy Butt BBQ, also part of American Fire. How are you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So, I guess, Greg, you probably started the barbecue competition journey, but how did Devin get into it? How all did it all come about?
Shoot, I'll let Devin do that. Devin, you want to talk about how you got into it? I think it was by accident, but I'll let him say it.
Right. I mean, it started off, I think, for the restaurant. I mean, we were thinking restaurant. COVID happened, got into barbecuing. Or for me, that's how it really got started. I think I took a class. I think it was Dirt Roads. Was it 19th of December? I took that, not really knowing what I was doing, what I was getting into. And then that following February, we took Tuffy Stone's class. I was like, I still don't know what I'm learning, but I'll write it down. And then obviously COVID happened, and then the store opened. But it's probably 21 that I got into a lot of the competition, looking at Ryan doing the backyard. And then that following 22 is when I was like, I think I'm gonna go cook the backyard royal and try it out. And then
I actually forgot you took Dirt Roads class with me and with Ryan and Karen, and that was before the store. I knew Tuffy was before the store, but
that's two pretty heavy hitter classes right there. Dirt Road. I mean, they were. Man, I wish they were still out there. I haven't seen them in a while. And then Tuffy, obviously, that's two big ones right there, Devin, to start out with.
They were good. That's how I met Chris Schaefer and Drew Davis at Tuffy Stones.
Yeah. Okay.
Most people actually really go to a comp and ruin their entries, and then they take a class.
Right.
He got to learn. He got to learn from me in that regard to cut the learning curve, because I'd kind of messed around with barbecue a little bit. I'd done I say a backyard. It wasn't a backyard. It was down at the lake, the homeowners association where I was at. And we won it. We did great, but kind of knew a little bit about what we were doing, but never had taken a class or anything. And then when I decided in 15 to jump in, I was like, listen, I'm going to take a class. I've got some time before I'm going to start. I need to figure out what I'm doing before I go waste a bunch of money. And listening to people like the Murphys and Rod Gray and some others say, hey, take a class. And really classes they weren't new, but they weren't all over the place. There was a Warren County Pork Choppers, Rod Gray. I mean, there was just a handful of people that were doing classes in 14, 15. And
was it mostly in the Kansas City region then, or was it just
Warren County Pork Chopper? I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I don't know that name.
They were kind of so I think he's out Ohio or Kentucky or someplace. And Warren County's got a business out there. I remember what he does. But anyway, I think they had a food truck, big building. He owns a business. But he was a team of the year, or had made a hard run, or some type of, I think it was a team of the year champion sometime back before 2014, 13, 12, in that range. They were running with True Bud and some of those guys in those early years for me. And they had a class, and I kept looking at it, and I heard about him on Barbecue Central radio show. That was kind of what I was following in 2013, 14.
Yeah.
And that's how I got to learn who Dirt Road was, who Tuffy was, and Warren County, and so many people at True Bud. They go back to those days until I went to the Royal in 2014. and spent the whole week there, and watched, Ryan and Karen RGC the Invitational and get to see some of those things. And Rod was somebody I followed. You seen him on Pitmasters, he won it, and he was local, and he had kind of had the class, and we know now that the Murphys are the only ones that brag about the fact that they've never taken Rod Gray's class. But I will tell you, everybody else, now they took True Bud's class, and they had kind of learned in that arena when they were coming up. But everyone has probably taken Rod's class. that kind of comes from when I was around. And I had just been listening, and there was like, the advice you would hear if you were paying attention was cut the learning curve. Don't go spin, go get a good class and learn. And that's what I did. I didn't want to spend 3 years trying to figure it out myself. Right. Yeah. Necessarily. Right. I'll make my own path. I'll make my own way, but teach me some tricks, or teach me some ways to cut through that slow part of that trial and error, So that's why, and I will say this, when I asked Devin to come, we talked about him coming out and cooking. We were talking about the restaurant. We were talking about a store. We were doing all those things coming out of 19, and that was probably December 19. That was Murphy's class. And then 2020, getting to go out to Tuffy's. I take a class pretty much every single year, no matter what. And in fact, some years I take 2. So I think I've quit counting. I think I've taken 13 at least by now. 13 different classes from different professionals, champs, or whatever we want to call them. And I think when we were going to get Devin involved, I thought it was like one of the quickest, easiest way to, hey, here's a way for you to understand what I do, what me and your mom have been doing since 2014. So,
Devin, had you been hanging out much in the trailer with your dad and everything at comps, or is it just here and there, or at all?
No, I did not even. I don't think I stepped foot in a contest till. Wow, I think I came to one of your first ones at Rockhurst.
Yeah,
and I have. I'm pretty sure those were some of my first photos on Instagram.
Right.
I think they're actually still up there.
Just kind of traveled
into that one. Didn't really know what it was about, and I was like, whatever. I thought it was kind of funny about competition barbecue. I had a whole different thing in my brain of what people were doing, and it's definitely not what I expected. It's very competitive, and I thought it was just a handful of people hanging out, cooking some food, and being like, taste it, sweet, that's great. And then there's 10 guys just hanging out there doing it. But get out to them, and actually saw it back in 2020 when I came to about 5 comps maybe that were kind of within the area based on, because of my job, I had to work Fridays, and so I wasn't getting it. It was within 2-3 hours. I was probably trying to sneak out to it if I could on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
And so I'd show up after everything was prepped and done and all the work was done.
Yeah, I was going to say, now I will say that he never got in on the work or the 345 fire start. He never got in on any of that.
No.
So you thought it was real easy.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize what it was as well. But no, I got into it, and then, we got into the store, and then kind of heard a little bit about, Ryan came from DeWitt, and everybody's talking about this backyard stuff, and I still had no clue what was going on. I'm like, I'm just running a store. I'm calling people's names, telling people, oh, do you know this person? And then they're actually part of the team, which is my biggest one is Meat Rushmore with Josh. When I was telling them, oh, there's a team named Meat Rushmore that uses this product. And he just looked at me, and I'm like, didn't even know that he was part of the team and that he was using it until later on down the road. So that's, as far as knowing people, that was probably, I just didn't know anyone. But then getting into it, that's when Dad and a few others had helped. Slaps from Joe, Joe from Slaps gave me a couple tips and stuff when he tasted some of my chicken and things when I did a little practice run. It was like, tweak this and that. But then, 22 came out, did the backyard roll, and tried to get Ryan at that one. That was kind of the the goal there was to see if I could get him. He got me by 0.5 point that year. I think he took 4th. So yeah, it was fun. But yeah, from then on, it was fun. I think we did about 13, 14 comps that first year.
Well, that's good. You have a certain number you're looking at this year, or
no? I always write a bunch down. I always look and see what's around the area and figure out how far I want to go. I think the farthest one I wrote down was going to be Minnesota in May.
Okay.
As well, but I think they filled up as well, and that was just an iffy. But I don't know. I think there was being ambitious. I think I had 17 written down, just being like, this is all the stuff throughout the entire year within the Midwest area for us. 2-3 hours.
Well, I was saying that can be tough because there's not near as many backyard competitions within a few hours. I mean, you do have to drive quite a bit. So.
Yeah, I mean, you look at April and it's all North Carolina, Alabama.
Yep. I was looking for an April comp. So,
well, I think it's Curly Bird went down southeast for 3 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you got the time to do it, good for you.
If you've got a job, you can do that.
So they work
good for you. It's like last year. I mean, they were able to just start on the East Coast and run their whole way over to the West and do their thing like they're doing again this year. Good job. Good for you.
It's hard. It's hard. We got the store, and Devin and I have been really bootstrapping this store ourselves since 2021, right? From the day we opened. It's him and I and Beck, and we're there 6-7 days a week all the time, and it's hard because I want to get out and cook again, possibly. I would like to, but the store has to be the priority. So seeing Devin get excited about it, it's like, and working with him early on, it was like, well, I kind of want him to get out there and go and see what it feels like. Beck and I have gone out there 25 weekends, 3 years in a row, chasing round trophies from KCBS, and we've gotten them. And Devin, right out of his first year, has already gotten them in the backyard. So it's kind of like, well, he's kind of spoiled. So that was easy. But it's hard because with the economy the way it was in 23, the store still did well. We did okay. It's just, we're there every day. We're trying to find a way to get to increase, scale the business and get some help and get out there. But, from both of our perspectives, we both look at it like, man, we got to be here, right? Nobody can do what we do right now for our store and for us. And we've got to be here. So it's hard for us to separate ourselves. And especially this year, the store's just been going absolutely nuts the last 21 days with outdoor kitchens and designing and selling these kitchens. And to be honest with you, the economy's tough, and people where it's discretionary spending, they aren't maybe spending that dollar, right? If you're someone that lives pretty close to the belt or has some credit cards and some interest, and you're looking to buy, man, you got a grill in your backyard that you can't stand, but you want a new one and you've been looking at it, you might not be able to pull that trigger, right? I mean, it might be too tight right now. And what we're capitalizing on right now is the ones with the money are spending money, and they're coming in looking to, reimagine their outdoor space. And that's the ones we're trying to capitalize on. And while we still serve everyone else. So it's hard, I want to let Devin go and go do it and go chase it and see what happens. But I think he knows, we both know, well, we both look at, well, yeah, all right. It's been a tough 2 weeks, but we both look at the we both look at the priority, and we'll get there, right? We'll get there.
Yeah.
It's just a grind right now, and remains that way. So, but I'm proud of him. I just bringing him in 21, bringing him into the store, and doing that and doing it together is a special thing for anyone, right? So there's a lot I could say about that, but watching him come in, he had just been exposed to what we had done just by me talking about it. Still not understanding it. Probably thought it was the stupidest thing in the world. But then when we brought him into the store early and he got to see the people, the connections, the people that come to the store, and we're so grateful that we had the store and what we were doing. And then Devin just pinned himself to me for 3 months in that store and listened to me talk myself hoarse every single day to customers. And he took it on himself. He found a passion and he learned and he learned and he learned. And he runs that store now. I mean, it's his every day. Whether he likes it or not, it's his every day. Some days are better than others, I'm sure. But I just can't say enough about what he's learned and how fast he's learned it. So when he decided, he goes, man, I think I want to cook. That was that American Royal story. I think I want to cook. I was like, well, let's get you chicken and ribs. Let's teach you something and go whip Ryan's ass. I mean, let's go. That's the guy you're after, right? Let's go get him. So anyway,
well,
the rest is history.
Something that's unique to, I mean, Kansas City, you got a lot of places you can go buy barbecue supplies and whatever. When you guys open your store, what I like about American Fires, what's unique about it is you got the family atmosphere, like you talk about, family owned, families running the business. But you guys have kind of really, what I call, branched into, you have competition stuff, but you have just regular good old, hey, we're going to teach you how to cook a brisket this week, or we're going to do, these demos. You have Brad and Bree in there doing different demos. You have all kinds of things going on in there that is, I don't know. So all the stores in Kansas City are great, but you guys are unique, it seems like, in how you go about it. When you walk into your store, everybody feels welcome. You greet people. A lot of the stores in town you go into, and may take 5-10 minutes before somebody says hi. So I think that shows with that family atmosphere is what I'm trying to get out, that you guys show that.
I appreciate you saying that, Kevin, because that is something Devin will tell you. That is something from day one, before we even opened the doors, that I said we were going to be, right? We wanted and I wanted and needed to be different and wanted it to be different. There are great stores. I made great friends at other stores that we did over the years. But I always felt, to me, it's like anything, man. Anything you do in life, think about where you shop, where you buy, where you eat, what you do. Think about the level of customer service you got. When you walked out of that door and you thought, wow, that was great. That person was great. Or you walked out the door and went, wow, they ignored me completely. So I told Devin from the day one, let's greet everyone that walks in that door. I want to greet everyone and welcome them in. I forget to tell people we actually have a kegerator in the back with beer in it. So it was always supposed to be Customer Appreciation Day. Come in, have a beer, sit down and chat. And the store just got so full of that. I mean, I anticipated having, furniture back there, stuff, man. Just come in and sit down. We're going to talk barbecue. But as we filled the store up over time, it's like you said, but I always wanted it to be about classes. I am happy that at the end of last year, this year, we're actually using that damn kitchen that we put in. I spent a lot of money to put that kitchen in there and do demos and do classes. And we're actually finally able to start getting the classes. I still can't do them like I want to, because I want to do it. But if it's Devin and I selling on Saturday, I mean, it happened in the brisket class. By the way, when I say let's go kick Ryan Kane's ass, just know he works for us now.
I'm sure he's laughing right now.
and we actually love Ryan Kane. We love him to death, and he's a great kid. And he's a new father now, so he's just really happy to see him grow and do things. But we actually had that class, that brisket class we had last week, that sold out. And it was a hands-on. We did something that's so unique that no one has done and will do, most likely, is we actually partnered with Certified Angus Beef and Victorinox and Butcher's Barbecue, these great brand partners that helped us put on a Certified Angus Beef prime brisket class where we gave every single student a prime brisket to take home and cook. So every one of them got $110, $120 brisket. We did a hands-on trimming class. They got a Victorinox boning knife. We had Butcher's Barbecue give us injections. He gave us shaker bottles. He gave us cutting boards. So we're in American Fire. We donated American Fire with Smoking Magic. We donated 2 rubs of their choice. They didn't have to just use Smoking Magic rubs or something we told them to do. They could pick whatever they wanted and make their own flavors. And man, these 15 people fell in love with this class, and it was a hit. It was sold out within 7 days, but we limited it at 15 because we knew we were going to have to help trim briskets. That's what the guidance was, right? And what we were going to do. So we actually, it's up on our site. You can register now. I don't think we've promoted it on socials yet, but we're redoing that class May 11th and getting that class going again, which is fantastic. We sold out like we got Kelly's class, 4 legs up. We've done that class. Bree and Brad did a class in December, January, and in February, and then we had this class in March. Kelly Wirtz came in, did his phenomenal. If you guys have never taken this sausage class, you need to take it. It's probably the best class you ever take.
That you're right there. The detail that Kelly goes into, and just hands-on. I mean, there's plenty of times you sit there and watch somebody do something. The fact the hands-on with Kelly's and with the one that you guys just did with brisket. I mean,
that's what we talk about, the hands-on aspect, right? Kelly's class, his sausage class, for $200, again, is an all-day class that you come and learn, listen to the lecture, listen to him talk about his experience making sausage. And then you get a pork butt, you cut up that pork butt, you grind that pork butt, you season it with whatever you want, breakfast sausage, brats. You can put a cure in it so you can smoke it later, but you can do whatever you want, and you'll leave with 10 to 15 pounds of sausage. For $200, make your own sausage and do this. And I'll tell you what, sold out. We had 19, I think, for that class. We took one extra because we had someone call. We sold that class out March 2nd. He's actually coming back April 12th and doing it again. So or April 13th, pardon me, Saturday, doing it again. So beginning to do, we've had already, 6 classes already. We're going to come into summer, getting some demos done. We're finally using the kitchen, doing what we need to do, and we love it. And I rambled all that to say that, in that it's long overdue for actually using it the way we need to. And that's the help. That's the guidance we want to do. And again, we're there for the comp teams. We got the meat. We've got all the stuff. But if I'm going to say this, and I don't mean to offend all the comp people listening, which is 99% of everyone listening, you're 5% of my business. 95% of my business is my community and the people around us. The frustrating thing, we're here to serve all the comp guys. We need your help. We want you to work with us so we can help you the best we can. And we're fully open to doing that. But you got to realize that it's getting harder and harder for us to do that, especially if it's I say this all the time. Hell, I wouldn't necessarily like it, but I say this all the time. Everybody wants something for free, and they're not really buying a whole lot, So it's kind of a thing that makes it a tough part of the business. But
but it's that community you want coming in, taking those classes. I mean, that's even getting some guys learning to follow Devin and try to hit, backyard, just get their foot in and start going.
Well, and Brian, you nailed it. I mean, it's how we're going to sell your products, right? I mean, that's how we're going to sell Sofa King. That's how we're going to sell Weekend Bomb. I mean, and every other comp person that has a rub has created a product and wants to sell it. Guys, that's how we're going to sell it, man. We got to help the 95% of my customers understand why they want to buy it, So, and the demos are great. So I kind of, we're going to have more of those this summer. We're kind of getting them planned. It's harder to do, but we're going to get some more of those done and keep doing the class. I think what we're going to do is a hands-on rib class. I'll announce it now. It's going to be in June. I don't have a date. But again, with Smoking Magic, they want to do it. We want to do it. So we'll combine up again and we'll do it. Brad and Bree are great, man. They're wanting to learn. We're going to get them out to Australia and get them back, and then we'll do it again in June. So
that's awesome.
Let's shoot for June 8th. My birthday's June 10th, and I can have my wife pay for that class.
we should, and I would. I think the high school national championship or the state championship is that weekend.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, down in Springfield. Yeah,
it's actually. I think it's going to be all the way down in Branson. I think.
Branson. Okay. Yeah.
Down at one of the airports down there.
Yeah.
So.
You're out of luck, Brian. Yeah.
So I want to switch.
Come early.
So I want to switch gears a little bit, and another iron you have in the fire was the Barbecue Life podcast YouTube. What inspired that, and how has that been going? I enjoyed listening to all of those.
I just talked about how busy we are and how much work we do, and then I'll probably say, well, shit, I was bored. I wanted to do something different. I'll be honest with you. I never aspired to do a podcast. I actually don't listen to them, frankly. I don't. I mean, I listen to barbecue-centric ones like yours and Lindell's, and I used to be a religious listener up until several years ago of Greg Rempe's, but I don't listen to it anymore. But and Luke Darnell's and some others. I listen to them, and I find something. Chris Schaefer's I thought was awesome. I wish he'd bring
his
it
was
back.
hilarious. Yeah,
but he's too big for it. But that was kind of the inspiration, right? Was I was sitting around and I was like, man, I don't get to cook. I can't find the time to cook, and I don't get to cook. And you know what the inspiration was? I miss being there on Friday night and talking to people. I miss being there on Thursday night, and I miss hanging out and just, bullshitting, right? I mean, it just telling stories and doing all the things we did. Now, and I don't mean this on a slam on anybody's podcast out there that does great work, and we love to listen to them. And Schaefer said this on my podcast, and he's right. And yet I fell into kind of some of the same trap. Was we all can get Brad Leininger on and then ask him the same damn questions and hear the same stories about how he got started in barbecue and how he got doing this. And I wanted to kind of do something different, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it different. And the concept was for me was, man, I want to go out on Friday night. I want to go out, or Thursday night is where we hang out a lot of times too. But I wanted to go out on Friday night, and I wanted it, or Friday afternoon, Friday night, grab a few teams and really get around the country a little bit and get some teams on that aren't on podcasts. It's not the normal rotation of, well, this team won, so let's get them on the podcast and let's talk to them for the 19th time this year when they won. Nothing against that, but we don't ever hear nothing really all that different. So what I wanted to do was get them on. I want the old school guys. I want them bad. Brad and I have talked about it several times, and then we just never do it. But I want to get them on and just ask them questions no one will ask them. Talk about. We've had enough current events that I don't want to talk about, but we talk about current events and things like that, right? And just have a different conversation and talk about barbecue too. Joel Meat Rushmore, very first podcast, he came up with an idea, and we ain't done it yet, but he came up with an idea. We need a taco roundtable. We got to have a Tuesday taco roundtable. And I'm like, well, that actually makes sense. Let's talk about something different. So we haven't done it yet. So yeah, absolutely. So the whole concept was for us to get out, meet some teams, talk to some different teams, and get some different stories that we all don't get, and then get on the road, right? Bree and I, we went, and all of us, when we competed out in Miami, Oklahoma, we got 3 of them on the streets in Miami, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I totally blew it, and we get caught up. The whole plan was to get some at the Jack when we traveled with Smoking Magic down to the Jack. We didn't get any. Worlds last year, we were supposed to get some. I didn't get any. And then The American Royal would have been a no-brainer. We didn't get any. I even bought equipment to do what we call shooting scoots or run and shoots podcasts, so we could run around and talk to people, and bought equipment, never even broke it out. So once we get involved in these things, I get caught up in being at them, then I forget to do them. But it's kind of one of those things. But the inspiration was to just do something different and have some fun. And Kevin knows, I mean, the wheels kind of come off later in the evening as we start doing some of them.
Have a few too many adult beverages.
Right. So, but I, to be honest with you, the feedback I got, from a lot of people, the 47 people that watched it, they seem to enjoy it. It's different. So I think what I need to do is engage it better and ask questions about, hey, who do you want to see? What do you want to see? What questions do you want? What are some different topics? And give me some thoughts on what people might want to see or hear, right?
Sure.
I want that because I want to keep it fresh, and I still want to do it. The whole winter was supposed to be doing some remotely like we're doing right now, right?
Yeah.
I actually bought a stream box that goes with my equipment. Again, I always like the idea of doing them in person. I don't so much like the remote stuff as much, but I understand the need for it. So I thought about doing a winter one all winter and doing the live stream and not having to pay for editing and do all the stuff that I was doing before. And again, I never did it. But I had surgery in January, so I just kind of was MIA for a bit and didn't get it done. I hope to I'm thinking about maybe doing a weekly one like that, right? With teams, and then getting out. I only get out to events maybe once a month or once every 5-6 weeks. So if I can get out once a month, once every 5 weeks, and then shoot three shows in one weekend, then I can spread those out, and we can have the fun ones, and then we can do the weekly ones if there's something fun to do.
If Devin happens to get out, maybe you have a guy on the scene, doing some quick little spot interviews, something like that.
I remember to do that.
There you go.
Devin can't hold.
Forget.
Devin can't hold a run and shoot microphone because he doesn't. What do I do with my hands? he channels Ricky Bobby
on Friday. I forget something.
Well, that's like me. I always say I'm going to go to this contest and I'm going to shoot all kinds, and it never happens.
And I'm
already hard enough to remember to take photos of the box.
Yes. Yes.
Well, and so when I haven't been out in so long, or I only get out once every 4 to 6 weeks, I get caught up in being out there, and then I got to stop and make people work. I got to say, all right, Bree, stop. You're working today. Get your ass over here. We got to get some work done. And that's what we did in Miami. We didn't do it at night. We actually did. It was 105 degrees outside. We did it. We did a noon. It was 12:30, I think. We did a 12:30, a 1:30, and a 2:30 on the pavement in Miami with fans and under the tent. Oh, dude,
your cameras were overheating, if I remember right.
They overheated. I plugged them in. We put fans on them. We lost them. It was just an ugly, ugly deal. And so I definitely like doing them at night. But I get out there and I get caught up in what we do. I think Thursday night or even Friday night, the idea has always been the fireside chats. And you guys know this. Sound is always important for podcasts, right? Yeah. So that's why I bought such great equipment. But it's hard to do that around a fire and not have the right setup and get it right. Because it's hard to listen to a podcast you can't hear, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to figure it out. These remote mics I got and some of the shoot and scoot stuff, I think we can use for that. And we might mess around with it, but I'm going to get it out there. We're going to try. I have fun. I know, Brad, you said you liked the show. I appreciate that. Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes is the Ryan Kane and the Damn Yankee episode.
That was a good clean one. Yeah, that was a good clean one.
Yeah,
it was in Lenexa.
Man Meat. That was Man Meat was on one of them. I like that one too. Those are probably my two favorites.
Yeah, Man Meat was down there at Osceola, and we had Chris and Jordan on, which that was actually great. And that's that was actually a good one. And actually, we apparently, I haven't posted this. I need to post it. It came out while I was hurt, and I wanted to go, but the MBBQA I submitted. Barbecue Life in the audio series and the video series and some individual ones. And I think we came out second in the audio series, second
sweet.
Place. Yep. Yeah. And then I think thank you. I think we were fifth in one of either a single video that I submitted or the video series. I can't remember. I have to look at it. So, it was kind of nice. And, again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just kind of faking it. And then my worst critic, I want new cameras and I want all this stuff. And I just had to quit. I was like, I've already spent too much on this. And
it's kind of another 100 degrees out there. Just do like a cribs tour. Say we're going to go inside someone's trailer. Fire it off.
So where were we gonna do the trailer? This last one, we were going to do it inside my trailer somewhere. God dang, I can't remember where that was. And it would have been a bad idea.
As long as you got a big enough trailer, you come into mine, it's going to be tight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Let's talk about Devin. You just got into the cooking scene, I guess, in the last, say, 3 years.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by all these different awesome smokers and grills that you guys carry in the store. Now that you've been doing it a while, twofold. One, what is your favorite machine to cook on? And I'm not talking for comps. I'm just talking in general.
Right.
And then two, what is your favorite thing to cook, not comp related? What do you enjoy doing the most? If you're going to practice, cook at home, cook in the store, what do you like?
Cinnamon rolls.
I was going to say, I make some good homemade cinnamon rolls. I do make those every year, every season for Thanksgiving usually.
I need a text when you're making those at the store so I can plan a work trip down that part of town.
Exactly.
I made them this past year, didn't I? Actually, I think I prepped them at the store this year and then froze them a week ahead for Thanksgiving and then just had them ready. Made it easy.
Yeah.
Honestly, what do I like to cook? Right now, what's been fun to cook on for us is I do like the Pits and Spits pellet smokers that we got in up out of Houston, Texas as well.
Yeah.
We've been playing with that for the last 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
That's been fun to play with. I still like the Gateway on there, smoking and stuff. But at home, in truth, at home, I don't light up my old Traeger much anymore. I usually cook inside. I do a lot of inside cooking. So I cook a lot of salmon and steak as well. Okay. So those are fun.
You doing similar techniques you do maybe outside, or you just or doing something that maybe you'll try on the grill later? Type flavor profile or something, or
flavor wise, it's pretty much the same either way. I might try a different rub or whatever that might sound good on it and go from there as well. But I do cook a lot of salmon and asparagus.
I love salmon. My wife loves salmon. Yeah.
So, and we wonder why he's
he's not a barbecue medium.
125 pounds.
No.
I don't know where that nickname Fluffy Butt came from, but that's not you.
No, that came from a little guy running around here somewhere. That name came from him. Called him Fluffy Butt just because when he gets real hairy in the wintertime, it looks like a little bear cub. And so when he waddles away from me, I'm like, Fluffy Butt.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So that's how the name came about.
Okay.
His nickname's Bubba, and I was outvoted by the in-laws of Bubba's Butt versus Fluffy Butt. And so I registered that night and said, well, I registered Fluffy Butt instead. And they're like, okay. And so I figured if I ever got a call, it'd be a name to remember.
People laugh.
Oh, it is.
Really.
Hear it often too, so that's good.
Dude, that was the funniest damn thing in the world, man. I can't remember. I don't think it was Katie. I can't remember who it was. We were at the First American Royal backyard, and they called him First Place Chicken. First Place Chicken, Fluffy Butt Barbecue, and Devin comes wandering up with his straw hat and his glasses to the stage, and some lady screams out, "Fluffy Butt Barbecue! Oh my God!" And it was actually pretty hilarious. I can't remember who that was, but
you wear that straw hat at home cooking too.
Actually, I bought that in 2019 at the American Royal when Rosie, my wife, got a perfect in dessert.
Oh, is that right?
Her dad had a big hat that he used for mowing. And so we were wandering around and there's some Stetsons. I'm like, oh, that's my mowing hat. And so I bought it just so I could mow in it and figured, well, I'll take it out to comps where the glasses I bought ahead of time. I bought those a couple years prior at my previous job. Just like the roundness and the fit. It does.
Mowing and barbecue.
So that's how that happened. That look.
There you go.
Just added it to the logo of my dog. And
yep. No, that's great. That's great.
The rest is history.
Nice.
Greg, what about you? What do you like to cook on? What's your favorite? I mean, out of all the stuff, and then I guess what do you like to cook? That's different.
So man, this is the thing, right? And it's hard for me to say because it's, my life has been competition barbecue for 9 years, and then I keep acting like I'm whining about this store thing, but I'm really not. It's not a whine. It's reality. I'm at store 7 days a week unless I can get away to a contest, and I don't cook. I mean, if I cook at the store, right?
Yeah.
Devin and I are there 9 to 7 every single day, and what he's not saying is if he cooks at the store for the most part. Then he runs home and cooks something quick, and it's got to be something quick. It's not that we wouldn't cook outside. Yeah. I mean, I have this whole dream of what I want to do to my patio, but I'm making dreams come true for other people. I don't, if honest to God, I don't even have, like, if it weren't for Becky, I wouldn't have a great Napoleon Pro Grill at home, gas grill for her to use because she wanted it, and she comes home late and needs one with lights and wants to cook. And, Beck, if you don't know her, she's a saint. That's Devin's mom. She's fantastic. She cooks every night for me when before I get home, and I'm just not having to cook much. Now, for me, I get inspired by seeing stuff. It used to be Malcolm Reed, right, man? He's the pioneer of everything barbecue and YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. You see some of these guys, and I see new ones, and I'll see just a new video on the socials that pop up and say that I find to be some neat thing. And I'm like, I'm saving reels. If I showed you the number of reels I have saved or a number of recipes that I'm going to do someday, probably not before I die because there's so many, I think they're really cool ideas. And I'm like, man, I want to twist that. I want to do that. But if I actually cook something, to answer that question, if I actually cook something, man, I'm doing a steak, and I'm going to try and figure out how to do that steak perfect. That kind of stuff. I have enough medical stuff that I'm not actually allowed to eat that much anymore. Yeah. So I don't get to eat what I want or, play with what I want. But man, I've seen a lot of cool things lately. I want to do a Thor. I want to do a Thor's hammer. I really do. And I've got a neat idea to do a Thor's hammer. It's not going to be nachos or tacos. I've got another thing I want to do with it. I will tell you one thing I did, and it was a neat little trick. I will do a video on it one day. We did, God, I'm going to say burn-ins. I hate saying this. I don't want to sound like a snob, but pork belly burn-ins, pork belly bites, pig can, whatever you want to call them. I don't care what you call them. I don't like calling them burn-ins, but everybody cubes them up anymore, gets some stuff on them, cooks them, smokes them, does whatever, just kind of get some char on them. We did something this winter. Mike Burke was with me in the store. Devin, were you there? I think you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were jacking around. I said, let's smoke one of these prime bellies. We got Prairie Fresh prime bellies, which are, if you haven't seen these prime bellies, just
they look beautiful there.
Forget Costco. Just come get a Prairie Fresh prime, Jesus. And it's not even extra money. It's just a beautiful piece of pork. But we had these bellies. I said, well, let's cook one of these today. We're bored. It's Christmas time or New Year's. It was one of the holidays. And instead of cutting it up and cubing it up, I just smoked this belly whole, right? Just seasoned it, got some good stuff on it. I won't tell you I put Aaron's new Southern style on it. I'm not going to say that at all. But I put some stuff on it and rubbed it and just went out and smoked it. And we just let her run until she hit probably 204, 205, got really soft, felt like it was going to be done. And I had an idea. I love belly when it's crisp and it's kind of got some bite. And I think that's why people cube them up, rub them, then bring them in, put them in a pan, and then they start adding a bunch of sauce and junk to them and put them back on and then try and caramelize them, right? So I had an idea. I said, no, I'm going to do this different. I'm going to do this like I'd want to do it. So we took the Traeger griddle outside. We smoked this belly on the pits and spits, I believe, Devin, wasn't it? Or was it the Traeger Timberline? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Smoked this belly, got it done, brought it inside, cubed it up, hit it with a touch more rub, and took it out on a ripping hot Traeger flat rock, and then just started rolling cubed bacon around on the flat rock to crisp up all the edges
all over.
Oh my God. It was exactly what a burn-in bacon cube delight bite is supposed to be, right? I mean, I said, there's no other way to do this now. You know, it's one extra step that literally took not even 5 minutes, right? It don't take long on a hot griddle to throw that on there. Expert tip, I'll give you right now. Expert tip, do not sauce it before you put it on the griddle.
Sticks a little?
You will, you'll burn the some bitches like that with that sauce. Okay. On that hot griddle, you'll burn it. So we were moving quick when we were doing it, and we burned a few. Mike was doing it. I'll blame it on him. Mike Burke did it from B3. So he burned them, and I blame him. But
I agree when you're talking about all the different, my travel and everything similar. I'm busy. I don't get to cook much, but I see all these different reels. And one that I like, some of a take of the pork belly is where they get it so it's crispy on the whole outside. It's got that crispy exterior. No, they get it. And that is, so you took it a step further. So I love that idea. That's
smoke it. Give it that slow smoke. Mm-hmm. Get her smoke, get some good color, get everything you want on it from a flavor perspective, then cube it, right? That way you could cook it whole. Forget having to put a bunch of cubes on a rack and have to babysit it and flip them, turn them, spin them. You don't have to do any of that. Cook that thing whole, bring it in, cut you some cubes, and then go toss that baby on a griddle and then just let her rip. Medium heat is really good. High heat would be too much, but just get them on there and then just start spinning them around like you would a Philly. Just move them around and let them kind of get crisp. And the bite, you still have that soft belly. It didn't get tough on you. If you don't get it cooked enough or get it cooked too far, it didn't get tough. And then you just have that crunch like it's bacon. You got the taste of bacon with that true belly. Oh, man, I'm telling you, it's just a simple thing. And I would tell everybody, do it that way one time. Just get your griddle and go do it. And it kind of changed it for me. So that was kind of a fun thing. I think one of the things Devin probably didn't touch on, he doesn't say, is like we love the pits and spits, but man, we were really fortunate, right? We get to cook on a lot of different grills. We've got a lot of demo grills. We got the griddles. We got the pits and spits, Smoking Brothers. We've got the Traeger Timberline, which I absolutely, from a Traeger perspective, I love. Hopefully we got a new grill coming soon, and some other ones. So it's kind of neat that we get, and we work with the drums. The Primo, I'll still say it to this day, the only American-made ceramic grill out there. The Primo is probably my favorite grill in the store. And that brisket clap. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like cooking on a drum, right? Mm-hmm. It's charcoal, just a little bit different. But the natural humidity that comes from cooking in a ceramic is bar none. You get this moisture without adding moisture. It's amazing what you get out of a dome in a ceramic. The fuel efficiency. We cooked the Chiefs game last year that was 7 degrees outside.
Yeah.
You're unaffected by weather in any way possible. You're not affected by weather. We could run that for 8-9 hours at 300 degrees doing briskets. Brad, he calls it what does he call it, Devin? His unicorn. It was a unicorn brisket we did last fall. The first one he had done on the Primo, and we had done it together one day, and he calls it his unicorn. And it was a choice brisket. It wasn't even a prime, and it was probably one of the best briskets we'd ever cooked. And I've got pictures of it. And so when we did the brisket class this last week, that's what we were cooking the briskets on. We're cooking them on a Primo. We're going to show people how this Primo works. And, we love the gateways. We've been playing around with the Hurtado from Hooray. That's a great thing. Runs like a can, built like a tank. It runs great. We've actually been working with the Hooray guys. We'll see where we're at. I need to talk to him. I designed a stick burner, an offset stick burner with him, with Brett from Hooray Grills. And we've been a big part of that. And Devin and I have cooked several times on the prototype. Then he took it down to Texas, and we got this thing running like my dove, man. She'll run 300, 325 straight across the grates on a little smaller type patio grill. It's built like a beast, actually looks mean as hell. It's an octagon. I mean, it's just a neat pit. So I'm hoping we can get that to production from Hooray and get that in the store. It's probably a little pricey at this point, but it's also made with 3/16 and 1/4-inch metal, and it's a 20 by 40 inch pit that weighs over 600 pounds. So I'll tell you, it's built like a tank, and it runs like my dove. It runs like a comp cooker, man. So it's a fantastic grill. So that's our advantage, right? That's the fun part of what we do. We get to play around with a lot of different things. Yeah. And cook on a lot of different stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
What size did you say that your prototype is?
So we're supposed to have 2. It's 20-inch barrel. Okay. So think about a standard, what we call a backyard or a patio pit, right? Yeah. Like think about Jambo Backyard or even Outlaw is a 24-inch barrel, round barrel by 48, right? That's a typical pit that's considered a backyard or a patio in name because somebody named it that. Jambo named it that way years ago, right? What I honestly believe we need is a little bit smaller pit that truly fits on a patio better than that 20 by 48 with that big ass firebox. That 20 by 48 takes up a lot of space, right? A lot of space. So my whole thought is I think there is a space in the market for a 20 by 36 or a 20 by 40, right? So the first one we designed is I wanted to get a 20-inch pit. So think 20-inch round barrel, which is the same as a lot of your pellet grills, by 40 inches long. One big single door, 40 inches long. Yeah. Kevin will show you. So, but the advantage of it's still only 20 inches at the grate wide, right? But the octagon actually instead of a round barrel, gives us a touch more height and a little more space. God, this thing it ran great. We were so happy with how it came out just on the first deal. We had a couple little things to tweak that weren't really more than cosmetic. There was one functional thing, but it was bolted in. So I pulled it out and tested without it and gave Brett the feedback from Hooray. And Hooray makes some really elevated stuff, right? It's kind of like Cadillac Turco cookers, right? They're not cheapies. So, man, it ran great. So 20 by 40. And then the expectation that I expressed to him is we always need the 24 by 48 because for the people that say, I'm going to spend that much, they're going to buy a 24 by 48, especially if they think you want to comp cook with it. If it'll run like a comp cooker, is you could use it like a backyard Jambo or a small patio outlaw, right? Where it's 24 by 48. You can pretty much cook a whole contest on it. And if you're doing chicken on a drum, you could definitely cook a whole contest on it. So we'll have that. We should have that 24 by 48 as well, because we're just going to replicate it in the same way. Just take the sizes up, bigger firebox, bigger body, bigger everything. So anyway, really, really a fantastic pit. I hope we can get it to production really, really soon here with Hooray and start offering them in the store, because it's one of the things we're never
grill everyone wants.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Are they? See, I saw Brad and Breeze that were. Are they all just painted black, or are you going to do like different colored on them too?
So out of the box from them, they'll all be painted black, right? However, they will do raw steel. The one he gave us in prototype was raw steel, and I told him, I said, I want raw steel. I don't want that thing painted. Let's put some oil on it and let's let it run and turn blue and make that rat rod looking thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was going to say. I love the look of that.
And so if you've seen the Hurtados, or if you paid attention to the Hurtado smoke box, we had a raw steel when we took to the Jack. We had it in the store for a while. Brad came and took it from me for Olathe, and he should bring it back. I don't know if he's going to or not. Brad, dork. But I actually will probably share you a picture of the prototype of the offset if you want, and send it to you. And it's kind of made with that frame steel like the Hurtado doors were, and man, it's just really heavy and really cool. I think it looks beastie. It's not clean and round and simple. It just looks like a Mad Max kind of thing. But kind of like the Hurtado, it will be painted black with the shiny steel frame. But then we have the option of not painting it as well. It has stainless steel roll bar grates, round bar grates, except for the top. The top racks are expanded metal. Has a big shelf underneath it. 8-inch hard casters, rolling casters. It rolls really well.
Nice.
A moving smokestack, so we can get it with the wind. So really cool deal. It's gonna be fun. We've needed a stick burner really bad, and there really isn't anything in the market that's not this cheap, Oklahoma Joe's, buy it at Academy, rickety $699 piece of shit, right? I'm not going to sell that. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Between there and the backyard Jambo or the outlaw patio, there's really not a whole lot in there. There's Horizon and Yoder. I guess they're respectable. I hate how they flow. I hate the high stacks and the low box. They're not consistent across the grate. They don't flow right. So besides having a custom built or buying a custom, there's nothing between that, cheap $700 import and the $4,000 nice well-built smoker we call them lifelong smokers that you're actually, your family's going to get these. Your grandkids are going to get these.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. As long as you intentionally don't drown it in the pond, your family's going to get it. So anyway,
I know I'm interested in it. I'd probably want to go with the raw steel one.
He told me we told me to do it because I know I definitely want raw steel. But
nice.
Something, Greg, I kind of want to touch on, and we've been running an hour here, but something this weekend we're coming up on probably one of the biggest comps in the Midwest, Smoke in the Spring, that Corey does. He runs very well. I'm excited to get to cook in it. I hadn't done it the last 2 years because of work, and I'll be there. I know you're going to be there. You run an awesome competition that this year coming up, due to when it lands with the Royal, you're probably going to be getting up there, potentially rivaling Corey with the numbers that he brings in team wise. Could very well, but talk about now that you've seen it for a few years of running a comp, you've competed in, you name it, all kinds of different levels of comps across the country and stuff like that. What do you see as maybe the top main 3 things that you as somebody, as an organizer, needs to make sure happens to make sure comp's successful? Doesn't matter if it's a 20 team comp or 106 team. Talk from your philosophy, from what you've seen competing, and now that you've run several years of a successful competition.
Yeah, man, that's a hard one. I think one of the first things I'll say is the one thing I don't do, but I need to find a way to do it. And it's not even so much me as much as it is, the city that we partner with where we have it, and they want to. It's just finding the time to do it, and that's trying to figure out a way to get the public involved. We say it over and over again, and I think some people think, well, we just got to get the public involved. KCBS needs to do this, and KCBS needs to do that. And honest to God, there's really nothing KCBS, not nothing, but there's nothing that really KCBS can do to help an organizer do that. People have to understand that as an organizer, I'm organizing a KCBS contest. KCBS is the sanctioning body, right? Mm-hmm. They provide the reps that come run my contest. I do everything else but that, right? I put it in their hands the day of the contest. Now, they guide me and can help me, and I can ask questions, but picking the judges and planning the event and all the side, whatever we're going to do, whatever the choices we make, is me as an event organizer. I'm the planner, right? KCBS is facilitating the contest, the running of the contest, how that contest is going to be managed when it's the day of, right? We're checking in teams. I still do inspections and those things, but then they're running the tent is the way to look at it. So for them to say, you have a lot of people say, well, KCBS needs to help organizers. That is a good conversation that we had with some organizers at the banquet this January, was trying to figure out, what do we mean by that? How can they help us? How can they provide more money to get our money up or help us with sponsors? They really can't. That's my job. That's my job as an event organizer. And for me to help make it better, I want to find a way for us to truly grow barbecue and get enthusiasm for it again, is to help get the public involved and get people seeing what we're doing. So that's step one, right? We got to figure out a way to do that. It will help me with sponsors when I do that. I chase down sponsors, right? That's up to me. I chase down sponsors. Well, if it's a contest, which is what we've always lauded our contest to be, is a cooks contest, right? Yeah. It's pro cooks. We're all about the cooks, and we don't. Well, guess what? Nobody cares to sponsor those events for the most part, which isn't totally true because we have great sponsors, but they don't really care because there's no give back. What is the give back to the sponsor? What is the return on investment? They aren't going to just give us thousands of dollars of cash if they can't get in front of the public in some way with their brand, right? Mm-hmm. So that makes it hard for me to collect sponsors. Most of my sponsorships are coming just off the friendships that we've made in barbecue, and they love us, they trust us, and they want to deal with us, right? So I think we have to get the public involved. We got to find more interest in that way. I think that will help drive sponsorship. I think every organizer out there, I've been bad about this because I am a bit of a control freak, but I've got to let go, is have a committee of people that are helping you. I have great volunteers that help me the day of, but I had Joel, KCBS president now. I had Joel, I had Bree, I had Travis Moore from Aggravation. I'm going to forget somebody. Who else, Devin? I had a handful of people that I was communicating with. Ryan Kane was doing graphics and stuff for us and still will. I was talking to him this week about it. And I need to use those people more to help me track down sponsors and help me manage some of these things. We get a lot of ideas thrown at us. Have a kids queue. Have a alcohol, have a Bloody Mary, have a this and that. And I'm like, who's going to do this, guys? I'm running a store and I'm trying to manage this whole thing. Plus, I'm picking over 240 judges for the weekend and managing communications with all those judges. And it just, I got to rely on people that are willing to join the committee and be a part of it. I think an organizer needs to do that. I will tell you this. It is hard to run a contest and I make zero money on it, but that's not my goal, right? My goal, we gave away $6,500 this year in donations to 3 great organizations, Camp OBR, Cancer Action, and Warriors Guiding Warriors, which is
that's fantastic.
A group that Travis Moore dedicates a lot with his family to down in the Ozarks. And we gave away $6,500. It's the only reason I do it. I don't do it for the store. I don't do it to make money. I'm working right now with accountants to make it a true not-for-profit 501c3 or a foundation in that regard. Mm-hmm. So whether it continues to live as BBQ or it continues to live as some other type of foundation supporting events like BBQ, and if we can really raise money, other events. I would love to use that foundation to raise other events or help elevate other events. But man, it's hard. I don't have the answer because I wish I could do it better. And I think the reason so many contests out there are gone, the ones that are running them now are what? They're municipalities, right? Yeah. They're city governments. Yeah. And some sort of Commerce Department or the Parks and Rec Department or somebody has the contest, and think about it, they have funding in their budget. And, Corey doesn't need to make money in his contest, right? He's raising money for other things, but in the end, he didn't have to start with having to make money. He just needed to be expense neutral, meaning it couldn't cost the city money, right? Yeah. So pretty much every one of these cities, besides the commerce departments or the economic development departments in these cities, are just trying to raise a little bit of money as a charity or as a fundraiser for themselves. But they don't have to really make any money. So it's hard to take entry fees, rent a space, do all the expenses that we have to do, and make that thing come out in the black. And it's why so many of them are dying and have been dying. It's not a result of KCBS doesn't know what they're doing. That's a whole nother conversation for another night. Yeah. But I stand behind Rod and KCBS 100% and Will to this, Will to every day. They are working hard. They're trying to right wrongs of the past. And it doesn't do us all any good to just stand on their necks and beat on them. If you can't be a part of the solution, then get the fuck out. That's my opinion. If you're not going to be there to help, then get out. That we're trying to solve stuff that happened years ago, and these guys are there with good intentions trying to do this, and contests will come back. KCBS is not going anywhere. Contests will come back. What's discretionary for you guys? If you don't have $1,000 to go compete because the economy's tight, what are you doing? You're not competing. Yeah. This is why they're kind of falling off. We've hit the peak. We've hit the peak of barbecue pit masters. It hit in 15, 16, 17, and we just kind of jumped the shark. We're honestly, with 350 more contests, there's still more contests than existed before 2009. Yeah. So we're not losing anything. We're coming back to normal, right? And I think we need to find some excitement and some enthusiasm in this game, this thing we do, to bring it back. And that's what I want to see contests do. How do we find some enthusiasm? And maybe that starts with getting the public out there. I don't know. That's a rant. It's a ramble. There's like no clear answer to anything. I do it. Well, I don't know why I do it, but I do it now to raise money and help. That's kind of been a servant leadership attitude for me. I wanted to find a way to give and do something. It's something I did all the years and that I was running nonprofit organizations that I created and co-founded myself in the city. And I've always been a part of these nonprofits and trying to help raise money and give back. And this is now my way to do it. And, and I didn't start it for any other reason than to fill a spot for a contest. And then it's turned into actually something kind of fun. Takes a lot of work, but it's rewarding to write that check at the end of the year, at the end of the contest, and give it out. So this one's going to be big. So I'm going to tell you, registration will hopefully be up in April here soon. And Aaron from Manmeat said he would work on it for me. I don't know if he's going to get really busy here. We'll put up a new website, new registration. With it falling right before the Royal, I've already gotten calls from at least 6 teams on the East Coast.
Oh yeah.
That are saying, we want to sign up. We want to figure this out. So I'm going to tell all my local people, get signed up as soon as it's out there, be on the list, because we'll get to 100, I think, like that. And,
I agree.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be different, and it's going to be a different challenge. But it's going to be really cool to try and do. So it'll be neat. But
good.
Anyway.
Well, guys,
we'd like to see you guys come out to BBQ.
I'll be flying back. I know. Believe me, one of these days I'll get there. I want to.
Yeah.
Hoping to be.
You're doing both pro and backyard, right?
You know what? I'm planning on it. I've always tried to say I'm going to continue to support the backyard and do what I can in that regard.
Brian, you know how to cook all 4 meats. Quit crying. Just go cook.
Exactly. It gets hard.
Find 3 friends.
It gets hard, but I love the backyard folks. For the most part, it's just like anything else, and I want to have that space for it. I think it's probably will be limited, right? I think it's like anything that, and it hasn't ever been super big. Last year was our biggest one. I think we had 21 teams for both days, but I definitely want to do it. It probably will be about that same size, I think, with the American Royal being what it's going to be. And when it is, I'm going to probably have to make sure I keep enough space for that. But if we don't get the teams and the backyards will come, then we'll crank up the backyard too. I mean, we'll do what we got to do. So
that sounds good. Yeah. I'm definitely looking into it this year for sure. So
cool. We had a lot of fun last year with it. We gave away a lot of money, and man, I just got to say that Jack Daniels was huge last year. American Fire, we did our thing, but Jack Daniels and oh my God, now I'm going to forget everybody. But Jack Daniels, the sponsorships that we had from Mazuma Credit, or not Mazuma, shit, she's going to kill me. Main Street Credit Union, Link Spring, Lakeview Appliance, and Crawford Outdoor. I mean, I had so much money. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this. We gave away $32,000. We went from giving away $18,000 in prize money to giving away $32,000 in prize money. And instead of giving away, $4,000 to charity, we gave away $6,500 in charity. And we got a little bit that we can start this year with and get the nonprofit part of this done, and maybe work on some new things to enhance the weekend a little bit. So, and if you didn't know, we did a massive potluck. Oh, certified Angus beef. Hell, they gave us $1,900 in tri-tips, ribeye steaks, and strip steaks. We fed everybody at the potluck, well over 200 people at the potluck steak.
I hate to say it, that's the part I missed the most, not being there. I heard that was awesome.
Well, just the potluck, we've done it every year. It's just cool. It's the end of the year. Yeah. Everybody's tired. Everybody's burnt out. And instead of running off to go eat Mexican somewhere, we just said, let's all get together and one last time, let's just sit in this massive field house, which this place is huge. We had a potluck in one end, and I still had judges set up at the other end for the next day and didn't have to break tables down and do nothing. So it's just a massive space out there at Oak Grove. And and we got out of the weather, which was important last year because it was about as shitty as it could get.
Yeah.
And then we had a lot of fun. So we gave away a lot of money. We had that. We bought pizza Saturday night from a local pizza joint, not a chain, but went to a local pizza joint in, I believe, Blue Springs, and bought pizza for dinner for everybody Saturday night.
Wow.
We're trying. And then Travis, his family, they cooked breakfast. We did 140 burritos. He did 140 burritos one day and 120 something biscuits and gravy and something meals the next day. We did over 300 breakfasts. That's all a part of. It's all a part of the registration. So it's all a part of your contest. But
that beats my 40 burritos I did a few weeks ago. So that's
yeah, but it's still it's just, I don't know. We're trying to make it, a meaningful event. I want it to be a meaningful event, right?
Well, and I think that's what matters. I guess my point of getting to, I know the comps that I like going to, and I like going to all of them, but the ones that really I remember, okay, Kevin, if you can only do two, what two you're gonna? There's certain ones that stick out in your minds, and those types of things, going that extra mile, you recognize that. For me, Excelsior Springs is one of those. Just with what 100%. Lindsay and Jimmy Mack do, I'll do everything I can to get there just because of that. So
and I'm just trying to be better than they are. I mean, better than Jim. Don't take much. Jim's
just don't carry the handle quite as often, and you'll be okay. So
I'm definitely. No, I mean, Excelsior is one I signed up for before 24. I mean, I was signed up in 23, so it's the one we always do. Osage, you brought it up in the beginning, is the one we always do. Corey leads the way in helping organizers that are new and always wanting to help, and he's helped me, and it's really kind of what we shoot after. So Corey is fantastic. Olathe has become one. It's one we always do. There's a couple others that have kind of gone away that we always did, but who knows? There'll be new ones that come.
Yep.
I think that's part of the thing, is how does KCBS find some outreach to figure out how to inspire new organizations or cities or whatever to start them, but without support, it's hard to. And I just don't know what that answer is, and it's one we're all hunting for, right?
Yeah,
we're all hunting for it. I'll say this: we need a big marketing partner for KCBS that will inspire enthusiasm again, which is where it all started from, how it grew to what it was, right?
Sure.
And then we lost that, right? So we'll get there one day. I have a couple ideas. I'd like to start a couple things that may trigger something, but I have a couple ideas. It just
always got room on that plate. Just move things around. There's always room on that plate.
That's probably why I haven't done it, but it just takes money.
Yeah.
It just takes money, right? So anyway.
Well,
it's getting late.
Yes, it is, guys.
Thank you.
Sure. We all got to get to bed. Devin's got to get his beauty sleep.
Thank you guys for your time. I do appreciate you.
Thank you guys so much.
Sorry if we didn't get to all the stuff you wanted to. So.
No, hey, it was great. Conversation is all we care about. Conversation with barbecue.
Again. Talk about cheese balls and whatever.
Holler at us anytime. We'll be glad to talk to you. Or I will.
I'll talk to you Friday night for sure.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a great evening. Thanks for everybody tuning in.
Bye-bye. Yep. Balloons. That's nice.